It has been frozen for 24,000 years, since before the pyramids, since before agriculture, since before written language, since the last ice age, when woolly mammoths still walked the earth. And then, in 2021, a team of Russian scientists thawed it out, and it woke up, not just alive. It started moving, it started eating, it started reproducing. 24,000 years of frozen sleep, and it simply continued, as if nothing had happened. This creature is not a bacterium, not a virus, not a spore. It is a fully formed multicellular animal, with a brain, with muscles, with a digestive system, with reproductive organs. A complete living animal, frozen since the Ice Age, resurrected in a Russian laboratory in 2021. Its name is the bdelloid rotifer, and it may be the most extraordinary living thing on this planet. You have never heard of it. Almost nobody has. And yet, right now, as you watch this, there are bdelloid rotifers living within 1 meter of where you are sitting, in the moss on your windowsill, in the soil of your houseplant, in the water droplets on your window after rain. Billions of them, invisible, indestructible, and utterly alien. The bdelloid rotifer is less than 0.5 millimeter long. You cannot see it with the naked eye. It lives in water films so thin, they are invisible to humans. The water between grains of soil, the water on the surface of a leaf, the water inside a drop of morning dew. Anywhere there is the thinnest film of moisture, there are bdelloid rotifers. They have been found in Antarctica, in the Sahara Desert, on the summit of the Himalayas, in the hot springs of Yellowstone, in the deep ocean, on the International Space Station. Everywhere, absolutely everywhere. They were first described in 1702 by the Dutch scientist Antony van Leeuwenhoek, the father of microscopy. He found them in dried moss that had been sitting on his rooftop for months, completely dry, completely dead, or so he thought. He added water, and they came back to life. He called them animalcules, little animals. He was right, but he had no idea just how extraordinary they were. Let's start with the most obvious question. How does a living animal survive being frozen for 24,000 years? The answer is cryptobiosis, the same ability we saw in the tardigrade. But the bdelloid rotifer takes it to an entirely different level. When conditions become too extreme, when water disappears, when temperature drops below zero, when radiation reaches lethal levels, the bdelloid rotifer does something extraordinary. It expels almost all water from its body. It reduces its metabolism to effectively zero. Its cells stop dividing. Its DNA stops replicating. Time simply stops. The rotifer does not die. It does not sleep. It enters a state that has a name in human experience, a state between life and death, where neither is quite true. Scientists call it cryptobiosis. Hidden life. In this state, the bdelloid rotifer can survive temperatures of -270 degrees Celsius, just 3 degrees above absolute zero. The coldest temperature theoretically possible in the universe. It can survive complete dehydration for decades. It can survive the vacuum of space. It can survive radiation doses that would kill every other living thing on Earth. And it can survive being frozen for 24,000 years in the Siberian permafrost, waiting as the ice ages came and went, as civilizations rose and fell, as the entire history of human existence played out above it, waiting until a Russian scientist with a thawing chamber gave it back its water. But cryptobiosis is only the beginning, because the bdelloid rotifer has another ability, one that is found nowhere else in the animal kingdom, one that breaks the fundamental rules of biology as we understand them. It steals DNA, not metaphorically, not through reproduction. It literally absorbs the genetic material of other species directly into its own genome. Scientists call this horizontal gene transfer, and in most animals, it simply does not happen. Your genome contains human DNA, only human DNA. The genome of a bdelloid rotifer contains DNA from bacteria, from fungi, from algae, from plants, up to 1/3 of its entire genome stolen from other species. Over millions of years, every time the rotifer desiccated and rehydrated, its cell membranes became temporarily permeable, and fragments of foreign DNA from dead organisms in the surrounding environment slipped inside and were incorporated permanently. The bdelloid rotifer is not just one animal. It is a genetic mosaic of hundreds of species merged into one impossible organism, and what scientists want to borrow from it could change everything. The DNA repair proteins of the bdelloid rotifer can reassemble completely shattered genetic material in hours. Researchers are exploring how to apply this to cancer patients undergoing radiation therapy, protecting healthy cells from damage, and for astronauts on deep space missions, constantly bombarded by cosmic radiation. What if their DNA was protected by bdelloid rotifer repair proteins? We have split the atom. We have walked on the moon. We have mapped the human genome. And yet, the most resilient creature ever to exist lives in the moss on your garden wall. It has survived ice ages, mass extinctions, 24,000 years of frozen sleep, and it has absolutely no idea that we exist. If the hidden wonders of this world fascinate you as much as they fascinate us, subscribe, because next time we go somewhere even smaller.